Hearing that the corruption is deep and there's going to be a need for a big pushback. But DG, according to officials from the department, 138 officials have now faced disciplinary action since about 2012 or so. 97 of those we hear were found guilty, 16 not guilty, 24 have resigned. I'm interested to speak about the 24 that have resigned. Does this mean they get off scot-free?
The answer is a big no. If any of the 24 officials who have resigned have committed any act of criminality, we will definitely go after them. I think it's important to state that we have opened a case, about 20 cases with the South African police, and those cases are receiving attention from the South African police. And some of those officials who have resigned are implicated there. I will not be able to mention their names, but there are officials who have resigned and we have opened cases against them. And at this stage, we have about 20 cases that we have opened with the South African police. I think what the professor has said as well is that the minister is also determined. It's not just political will. He's very determined to turn the organization around, and the figures do speak for themselves. And this is one of the reasons why we are also targeting the board, not just the department. Remember those numbers that you have mentioned, the 138 figure is only talking to the department. Now we're also getting into the spaces where the water boards are operating, and that is why some of the CEO have been suspended.
Yeah, you know, some communities listening to you, DG, may find this as quite cold comfort because many are still without water and the likes. Why should they continue trusting that government will in fact be able to provide what really is a basic service so many years into the democratic dispensation?
Well, Ayanda, it's not all doom and gloom. I think the majority of South Africans do have access to water. You can look at the figures since 1994. In fact, the biggest challenge in most cases that we're faced with is the maintenance of the existing infrastructure. You would recall that in the 90s, we went throughout the country, we created infrastructure, boreholes, pipelines. The challenge is how to maintain them over time. Yes, we still have areas where there's no access to water in Limpopo and in some parts of Eastern Cape. But the majority of South Africans do have access to water, but what is more of a challenge is the reliability of the existing infrastructure, because that infrastructure has to be maintained over time. And I think this is one part that municipalities are grappling with. Please bear in mind that the responsibility to provide water to communities resides with municipalities, and we've had a challenge with some of the municipalities failing to maintain the existing infrastructure.
Right.
But we don't want to spend more time stating the problem. I think what we want to do is to focus on what needs to be done, and this is what Minister is determined to do. And she has demonstrated over the last 8 months. Remember, she started 9 months ago in this portfolio, and she has been hard at work, crisscrossing the country, prioritizing those communities that do not have water. And I think we need to focus on what needs to be done.
Yeah, and what needs to be done in part is to recover all the money that's been lost so far. The department saying it's estimating it might be able to recover about 18.2 million rand. However, the Auditor General telling us that 950 million rand has been lost due to irregular expenditure. That's a far cry from the estimate about what potentially might be recovered.
Let's separate the two, Ayanda. Irregular expenditure is a process that has gone wrong, but the value has been realized. Fruitless and wasteful expenditure is money that has been spent but value not realized. What the AG is talking about is not irregular expenditure. He's talking about fruitless and wasteful expenditure. And that's what we want to recover. We're starting, the 18 million is a start. The other part in that fruitless and wasteful expenditure figure that the AG has talked about is standing time. For instance, I'll just give you one example. there's a company that was not paid within 30 days, and that company started instituting penalties. And when you pay for penalties, you pay over and above what you've contracted for. So in the past, in year 2018, 2019, this organization had serious financial challenges. And they were not in a position to pay contractors on time. And if you don't pay contractors on time, it means, therefore, that you end up paying more than what you have contracted for. So that is the fruitless expenditure that the AG has referred to. Where there are individuals involved, we have acted. I think the figure speaks for themselves. You have seen those figures. They are substantive. And it also tells you that the forensic investigation component is working very well in the department.